Hello YouTube, it's DsChroniclesTho, and yes, it's that time of the week again, you know how it goes. Another week, another chapter. However, something I do want to say a little special about this week is that this is actually going to be the end of book one. Yes, finally, we're gotten to the end. Book one will finish up this week, and that's not going to be the end of it though, because next week we're going to start up picking it up at book two. But we can get into that later on. So, before we get into this week's episode, you know how it goes. I want to quickly do a little recap of what happened last week so we can jog our memory. Okay, so as you remember, last week what happened was, I had sex with Lacey for the first time. And it was magnificent. It was amazing. It was incredible. It was so good, and I was happy about it because of the fact that it was actually her first time, and it wasn't mine. And if you recall, my first time was fucking trash. It was so garbage. It was so garbage. And I just didn't want her to have the same type of experience. So it ended up working out. It was great. A little bit after that, we started dating. Things were going really well. I was really into her, so I started introducing her to the family because I felt like, like this relationship is different. Like there's something about it. Like I just want her to know like my family. I want her to be coming over all the time. Yada yada yada. Right. So we were the summer sophomores year. I'm sorry, the summer after sophomore going into junior years was when this is when we were dating. And then towards the end of the summer, I started feeling like these feelings are a little too strong. A little too strong, starting to scare me because I just thought like obviously this means we're gonna get married if we keep dating. And so that terrified the shit out of me because I was like, I'm not ready for this commitment. I'm not ready for it. I'm only 16, right? End of the world type shit. And so, unfortunately, I broke up with her. And that was like the beginning of junior year when I did that, right when school started. And that's where we're going to pick up right now. So, junior year starts, and of course, I make a very drastic decision, right? I break up with Lacey. I tell her, I feel like the way the relationship is going, we're never gonna break up, which means we're gonna get married, which means I'm not ready for that kind of commitment, blah 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 blah. And then she's just looking at me like, you sound so stupid. And I mean, I did, to be honest. I sounded incredibly stupid, but whatever. That was years ago. I've grown since then. Anyways, so yeah, we break up, and it's crazy because she tells me how like she felt the same way. Like she also felt that like things were going very well, almost like perfect, you would say. And she did think they were gonna be together for like a very long time, and she felt the same way about it. But like she was embracing it. Like she enjoyed feeling like that towards somebody because she hadn't before. And I was like on the other end of the spectrum, right? I was like, no, like I don't want that shit. Like give me as far away from that as possible. So with that being the case, all of junior year was just super like she was just trying to get me to see where she was coming from, where like why would you be so scared of that if that is the case? Like there's nothing like that, that's nothing bad about that. It's not like we were in like some shitty relationship where like we were mistreating each other, and I felt like that. Like we were like, it was like a very healthy relationship. Like there was like nothing wrong about like the way we were treating each other. So it didn't make sense to like run away from something that was good. So of course I wasn't hearing that shit. I mean, all of junior year was like that. She was just trying to tell me like, like I really do want to be with you. Like I really want a relationship with you. And I kept saying no. And then she keeps saying come on. I kept saying go away. And it was just like that back and forth, like all of junior year. It was so draining. Like it was just everything about junior year was just so petty. Like in my life, like everything was so petty. Like I was being petty towards Lacey, fucking, and then also junior year. Surprise, surprise. Jessica tries to like rear her freaking self back into my life, and so she's dating some other guy, and then she like has the same type of relationship with him as she did with me. Every other week they're breaking up, getting back together, right? And the thing that was so petty about that was every time they would break up, she would the first thing she would do was text me. Every single time she would text me saying, "Oh, I miss talking. I miss when we would hang out. I miss being together." Blah blah blah. Like all this like super drama shit. Like trying to start up stuff, and I was always just like brushing to the side, brushing to the side, brushing her to the side. So annoying. She was being super petty. All my old friends were trying to be friends with me again, even though like they were talking shit about me the entire time that we like weren't talking. Like they were always like talking shit about me, and then all of a sudden they want to be cool again. That shit was mad petty. But you know what? I was kind of like at that point it was like it's already been a year. I'm just gonna leave it like we can be cordial. You know, like if we see each other in public or if you guys want to talk to me or whatever, like that's fine. But at the end of the day, like it's not like I'm inviting you to chill anywhere, so we can leave it at that. But either way, like that shit was mad petty for them. Like just everything, like everything was just everything in my life was just so everyone was just being so petty. Junior year was like just petty, petty everywhere, petty, petty, petty. And so we fly past junior year, a bunch of bullshit, right? And then the summer after junior year, same bullshit. Like it was still everyone was being petty. I was being petty towards Lacey. My friends were being petty towards me. Like Jessica was still being petty towards me. Like everything was just bullshit, right? Finally, boom. So, senior year, things start to change. Things start to change a little bit, and I'll tell you why it started to change. It started to change because it was around October. Lacey had enough, right? Like she had been trying to talk some sense into me for like a year already, and I wasn't budging. And then finally, she wanted to like have like a real discussion, like sit down, talk type of shit, like. So I was okay with it, and she came over to the house. And I mean, at this time she was already driving. She had a car and everything like that. And I wasn't driving because I wanted to wait until I was 18. I don't want to do driver's ed, so I was just gonna wait till I turned 18, go to the DMV, get my license, boom, boom, boom. That'd be done with it. Unfortunately for me, I don't turn 18 until like school's over, so I would never see my license my entire high school career. Whatever. Anyway, so she had a car, she could drive, so she drove over to the house, and then we were talking, and it was the same thing. Like she was trying to say I'm tired of trying to convince you that this is like what we had was good. Like this is the last time I'm gonna say it, and I was still in the same shit. Like I was still with my head up my ass, like not realizing like how good it really was, you know. So I told her like no, like I'm not interested in that with you. Like that's not what I want. And to be honest, I think we should like just completely stop talking because this isn't helping either way. Like regardless of like what we want, it's not helping the fact that we're not in agreement, but we're still continuing to like talk to each other and see each other and stuff like that. Like that's not really like helping anybody out, right? So she agreed, and we decided to just cut off communication completely. So that was October senior year, and that was like the last time I was gonna talk to her, cause I mean, we like I don't really memorize people's numbers in general, so when I deleted her number, like that was a wrap. that was a wrap. There was no way I was ever gonna be able to contact her, and I'm not sure if she did the same thing for me, but I mean we didn't talk, and like months went by and it was nothing. But the thing that was different though was that for like a while it seemed fine. Like everything was cool, you know. I didn't really feel like any type of way towards it. But it wasn't until like later, like a month goes by, 2 months goes by, and it really starts to hit me that like she was there that whole time. Like, even though we weren't dating and stuff like that, like she was still like I was still able to talk to her. We're still able to talk and everything like that. But like her not being there at all in any sense of the word, like it was totally, totally, totally different. Like my life was just completely different because I wasn't I wasn't close with anybody. Like when she left, I realized that I I never really opened up to anybody after like me and my friends kind of like went our separate ways. Like I kind of had like trust issues with people, so I never really opened up with anybody. So even like the friends that I did have at that time, like it was super superficial. Like everything about the relationships was just very, very, very superficial. Like I would never really like delve into like how I felt about anything for like with any substance behind it. It was always just like very casual conversations I would have, and these are people who like I would consider to be my, like I would say out loud they're my close friends, but like if I really sat down and thought about it, like they didn't really know shit about me, like they didn't know anything. And the only person who really did understand me or really did know me was Lacey. And with her not being there, it was just so, it's just like so empty, like it's just so lonely, really, because like even though I'm surrounded by these people who like are cool with me and stuff like that, it just none of it felt like it was good enough, you know. It always felt like something was like missing, something was always like something that used to be there is just not there anymore, right? And it was like this time that I started looking for like other avenues to like compensate for losing her, kind of. We're not really losing her, but like not wanting her to stay, I guess. I don't know. But I started like drinking a lot in this time. And I mean it was fun for a while. Like yeah, it was cool like to just go to parties and then I would be drinking with a bunch of people and then it was cool to like actually like fit in for once because I was always just like the guy on the outside, like the odd man out, because I never really participated with anything like that. And now that like at least even though I don't do drugs, like I didn't go that far. Like now that at least I'm drinking, I can just sit there and look like I'm having a good time, even though like I'm bored as fuck. So I started doing that a lot. However, that really didn't help me, especially because of the fact that like my taste buds are fucking immaculate, man. Like my taste buds are so good, which means I'm super picky about what I eat because I taste like the bullshit in everything, and like beer and alcohol, all that stuff tastes disgusting, and I was never able to like get over that. So every time I drink it, I would just like hate my life. I'm like, ugh, this tastes like piss, but I'm doing it because supposedly it's fun. So I was doing that, but it really wasn't helping me anything, and it wasn't after a while like the initial rush and the initial excitement of it was kind of dissipating, and I was still left with like feeling like I wanted more. And it was like the end of December. It was like the end of December when finally I realized like how much I really miss Lacey. It was it was crazy. It was like when I really sat down and think about it, like everything about my life was just like I could just tell that I wanted her to be a part of it all. Problem was I didn't talk to her in months, and I didn't know if that lane was still there. You know, like I didn't even know if I was in a position to be able to approach her or talk to her. Let alone, I mean, I don't even have her phone number, so like I had to figure out a way to get that right. So I mean, I didn't know anything about her life. Like I didn't know where she was in her life. I didn't know anything about it. So I started like asking around some of my friends, seeing if they could snoop for me, right? And found out she had a boyfriend, and that sucked because now not only do I not know if because even though she has a boyfriend, potentially I could like slide through, right? Like that could be something potential. The problem is the fact that she's dating somebody means that I mean she might be better off without me. You know what I'm saying? She might be better off in the relationship she's in now. So like that did come to mind too. And even though like I really fucking missed her, at the end of the day, like I wanted to do what was best for her. So I was like really conflicted. And I was like spending a lot of time like trying to figure out like, you know, is it even worth it? Like is it even worth it to try and talk to her? Is it like it was so long ago that we were together, and it was even though like those feelings like didn't really go away, like if things could be different now since we stopped talking, like I know I've changed because I miss her. Like before I didn't want anything to do with her, and now I'm like rearing the fuck out of making that decision, right? So like even at a very like basic level, like that about me did change. And I kept thinking. I couldn't figure it out, right? I couldn't figure it out. And I decided to have my cousin over. And me and him, we're pretty close in age. He's like a year or two younger than me. So I felt like, you know, I gotta talk to somebody about this shit. So he came over to the house and he ended up staying the night. And I was talking to him like about all this stuff. Like I was just like unloading everything, like telling him everything about everything that's happened between me and her, like how I felt about everything, like all the stuff that's been going on. And he was like, "Well, I mean, from from my standpoint, I feel like you should do it, but I can tell that you're like very skeptical about it. So maybe you just need to like flip a coin or something, right?" So I mean, I was like, "What the? That's the perfect idea, right? Like that's the perfect idea. Let fate decide what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like let fate decide whether or not it's worth trying to have some communication between the two of us again." And so like I had the collector's edition of Fable 3. Shout outs to that franchise. Fable was super good. Anyways, so I had that, and in the collector's edition there comes like this big ass like coin, like medallion type of thing. And on one side it's like all red and has like a little like devil demon right there, right? And the other side of the coin it's all blue and has like a little angel on the front of it. So I decided, you know, I'm gonna flip this coin, and if it lands angel up, that means that like it's meant to be, right? That means like I should definitely reach out to her. If it lands demon up, that means that like this needs to be the end. Like I need to like just try and figure out like try and like deal with the like losing her on my own and let her go about with her life, right? So I flipped the coin and it was spinning, it was spinning for like 10 hours, dude. It was spinning forever. It was spinning for so long. I was just waiting, like thinking that like maybe gravity fucked up or something like that. Like I was like, well, clearly we're in some type of vacuum because this fucking coin is not landing yet, right? Like it was taking forever. It was taking forever to land. And I was just like watching like, all the rotations of the flip just whoosh, 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 like just spinning over and over and over and over and over. Then I went upstairs to like get some food because I started getting hungry. I was waiting for so fucking long. And then I came back downstairs, and then my cousin, he like fell asleep because he was waiting too. And then he woke up in the morning because like my alarm was going off because we had to wake up early to get him back to his house because he had some errands to run, right? So we both woke up and the coin was still fucking flipping, and I was just so confused. I was like, what the hell? Like how long do I have to wait for this coin to decide my fate? You know what I'm saying? How long do I have to wait? And then finally, boom, reality snapped back in, and the coin dropped. And of course, you know, like the angels from heaven like spoke down upon me, and they blessed me with the gift of knowledge. No, I'm just kidding. The coin landed angel up, and I mean I knew it. Like I was like, even though this was such a stupid idea to just to flip a coin and let that decide, like the moment it landed face up, it like really reassured in my like me of my feelings about it, and it like helped me realize that like you know like what I'm gaining from it is worth it, you know, like even if I try and it doesn't work, like at least I know at least I can be confident in the fact that I'm doing the right thing, like I'm doing what I should be doing. Like I need to try and reach out to her and try and get her to understand that like I'm in a different space now. Like I want that relationship, knowing how I feel about it, knowing that I still think that's gonna be like the end all be all of my life, right? I still think that us dating means that we're not gonna break up, but I'm I'm not scared of that anymore. You know, like I want that to be a part of like my life. Like I want that to be like a part of my story as a person, you know? So the next step was obviously getting her number, right? So I started reaching out to some of my friends who I thought could have their number, or I mean, thought could have her number, or thought might be able to find a way to get her number again. Just because, like, obviously, maybe they didn't delete the number, you know? Like, even though I deleted it, doesn't mean that none of my friends didn't delete it. I mean, at the end of the day, they were friends with her. They would text her on occasion to figure things out between the two of us or anything like that, you know? So I figured they might have it, right? So I hit up my man Bob, since day one, right? And Bob had it. And he was like, yo, for sure, I'll definitely hook you up with the number. So he gave me the number, and then I was like, shit, like I got it, right? And my cousin was still over, and I was trying to figure out like how should I go about this? You know, like should I text her? Should I call her? Like I know if I call her, she's not gonna fucking pick up. Like she memorizes numbers. So when I call, she's gonna see the number and she's gonna know it's me. And she's gonna be like, the fuck does he want? And he's gonna send that shit to voicemail. Like I already knew that was gonna happen. I already knew that was gonna happen. But I figured, you know what? And as opposed to sending a text message and like writing out like a bunch of pages worth of text, you know, I'm better off just making a phone call because on the off chance that she does pick up, we can hash this shit out like all at once. Like we can just be talking for like hours and hours and hours, and it'll be so much more effective than like sending text messages back and forth if I do get a response. And if she does like curve me and shit and like sends me straight to voicemail, I mean I can still leave a message and like get a lot across, and I'll be able to get off. I'll be able to get more off of my chest by talking than by texting because it's gonna be so much quicker to talk through all the things that I feel, right? So that's what I did. I called her, and like I knew, she sent my shit straight to voicemail, and I left her a long ass voicemail, dude. I left her. It was like several minutes worth of me talking about how, like, yo, I know, I said what I said before, but I was bullshit. Blah blah blah. Like just a bunch of me trying to tell her like, yo, I'm in a different space in my life now. Like I've changed, like type of shit. And I left that message, right? And that wasn't good enough though. So I called her again. Sent my shit straight to voicemail. I left her another long ass message. Me just at this point I was just rambling. Like, I wasn't even saying like anything like about anything. I was just talking for the sake of talking, like just trying to like blow her shit up, you know? And then ended the message. Called her ass again. Left a long ass fucking message. Like just saying all like I don't even remember what I was saying. Like my mind was just like racing. I don't even know what I was talking about. For all I know, like I was telling her like what I like ate that day. Like I don't even know what I was talking about. And the whole time, like, my cousin's on the side, and he was laughing. He was like, yo, what the fuck are you saying? And I was like, dude, she needs to talk to me. Like, she needs to talk to me. Maybe she'll hear this and be like, he lost his mind. Let me figure out what's going on with him, right? So I leave that message, and I'm about to call like a fourth time, and she picks up. And I didn't expect it, so I didn't know, like, what the fuck to say. And it actually worked out because like all she said was stop calling, I'm trying to listen to these messages. So I was like, okay. And then she hung up on me, and it was like 10-15 minutes later she called me back. Or actually no, she texted me. And was like, you know, are you free to talk right now? And I mean, I was scared as fuck because I was like, damn, this is gonna like. I feel like this one conversation is gonna like define where this is gonna go, you know. So I was really nervous. I didn't want to fuck it up. And my cousin, like, I knew I couldn't like be in the same room with him because he was just gonna make me laugh because he thought I was acting like stupid as shit. And he kept smiling every time I looked at him, and it kept making me laugh. And I knew if I was like on the phone with her, like with some serious ass shit, and then I started laughing, like that wasn't gonna be a good look, right? So we were in the downstairs living room at the time. So I like left his ass, and I was like, "Don't follow me." And I like went to my room, locked the door, closed it, like turned on some music so like I wouldn't get distracted by any like noises on the outside and shit, right? So I'm in there and I'm like, fuck it, like I just gotta go for it. Like I'm really good at thinking of coming up with shit on the spot to say and like improvising, and like I'm really good in clutch situations, right? Like if those traits are ever gonna benefit me in my life, like I need that shit to go down right now. So I called her up and we start talking, and at first it's like we're kind of like beating around the bush a little bit. Like she's just telling me like asking like how like my life is going and stuff like that, like what's new with me. And I'm talking to her like we haven't spoken in like years, even though it's only been like 3-4 months. um but it just felt so much longer, you know, like it just felt like such a drastic amount of time has gone by. because of where I was when we stopped talking and where I am now. And I mean, she's dating somebody else, so that's shitty to think of for me to think about, because I know like she felt so strongly about me, and now that she's with someone else, like clearly something happened to where like she was able to like push that shit to the side. So I didn't know if that was like something permanent or if that was just something like temporary that she was doing, you know. So we were talking, and then I finally like got into it. I was like, you know, like I really want us to talk again. Like I really like miss you and everything like that, and like things definitely not the same like with you not around. And she was saying how like she was like, yeah, I kind of figured eventually you would want to talk again, just because like we were close and everything like that. And by the way she said it, I felt like she didn't really get what I was trying to say. I felt like she thought that I was saying like have just like communication or like be friends or some shit. But that's not at all what I wanted. Like I was I was set in the fact that like I wanted a relationship. Like I wasn't scared of it being too good. Like how stupid that sounds. Like I was not scared of that being the case, you know. Like that's what I wanted. So I made it like as blatantly clear as I possibly could. Like I want to be in a relationship with you. Like I literally just said it like that. And she was definitely surprised because she just thought that like the way that I was acting before, like she just felt like that was gonna be it, you know. She like never thought that I would want that between us again. And I mean, she didn't really know what to say. Like she was dating somebody, you know. So I was trying to say like, you know, like we should talk in person. Like we should like meet up or something like that, and like see like where we lie with each other, kind of thing. Like see if like we still have something between us, right? And obviously she wasn't going. Like that didn't make any sense. She was dating somebody. Why the fuck would she meet up with me like at my house or some shit? Like that doesn't make any sense, right? So she was saying like, you know, I don't think that's gonna work. Blah 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 blah. Like doesn't I would feel bad towards my boyfriend if I did that. Blah blah blah. And I was just trying to convince her like, just do it. Like like fucking just do it, right? So we were talking, and I mean we were talking on the phone for like I don't even know how long. I don't even know if we went to sleep. Like we were talking on the phone forever. We're talking forever, and then finally, she like agrees to meet up with me, and she tells me how like it's almost New Year's Eve when we're talking. It's like already past Christmas, and she says like, well, you know what, like I'm busy for the rest of the week. Like I got plans already made and everything like that. Like we can like meet up after the New Year's. So I was like, well, fine. Like what the, like I'm not against it. Like as long as we get to see each other in person, like I think that's gonna benefit us. So I was super down. I already waited several months to like try and get this opportunity. You know, like I did not mind waiting a couple days for it. So while like even though we didn't hang out yet, like we still talked throughout like those few days. We were still talking and stuff like that, still trying to like hash things out between us and everything like that. I'm trying to like figure out where her head is at, like where I'm trying to figure out like how well her relationship is going. And I mean, they only been dating for a little bit. Like it wasn't like they were dating for like a really long time. Like I mean, even though we weren't even like we didn't even stop talking for a very long time. Like even less time than that was spent with her being with this dude. So I started to feel a little more comfortable about it. I started feeling a little better. I was like, well, I don't think they have like some crazy ass connection to the point where like I feel like I'm super outclassed or like I'm not gonna be able to like come between or anything like that, right? So finally, like the day comes and we're talking. Like she comes over to the house and then we're talking and everything like that, and like the vibes are still there, you know. Like as soon as she walks in, like I can like feel it. Like I feel it myself, and I mean, it was so strong, like, she had to have felt it too, you know? Like, she had to have felt the same thing that I was feeling. And just, like, I mean, we spent the day just, like, hashing things out, like talking about where she's at, where I'm at, like where we want to be. Like I was pretty much telling her like, you know, like I want that relationship, like I want that with you, like to like pretty much telling her like all the same things, but like it it felt better doing it in person because like she can actually see like the intent behind like what I'm saying, you know, like she can like see it in my face. Like I wasn't bullshit about it. Like I wasn't just saying it to say it. Like I was saying it because I meant it, you know? And that's something that like you only really get that thing like that kind of experience like in a face to face environment because you can like see someone up close and like see like the way like, their eyes are looking or like the way that like they're shifting around their like body language tells a lot about someone when they're like really telling you the truth, you know? So I mean, she started feeling like she started saying how she felt the same way. You know, like she still wanted that, and even though she was dating somebody, like I mean, it was clearly a rebound. It wasn't like it was something real. You know, like it was just something to try and like move on because she felt like she had to because she felt like we were never gonna work, right? So later on, when she left, she ended up breaking up with her boyfriend like a couple days later. And I mean, I was pumped. Like I was excited. I was excited as fuck. I was like, finally, I'm gonna have like my shot. Like finally, like, we can hang out, and we can have like, it would be like, there'd be more closeness between it because obviously at the end of the day, like when we did see each other, even though like those like feelings we have for each other were super strong, like we can like feel it. Like there was like a lot of tension in the room, you know. Like even though you could feel it, at the end of the day, like we both have to respect boundaries, seeing as she's in a relationship. But now that she's not in a relationship, like those boundaries are kind of blurred at this point, you know. Like there's definitely leeway on both sides. So she comes over, and then we're hanging out. Things are going great, and then we do that a couple times actually, like to make sure that everything's fine, you know, like to make sure like we're both on the same page, to make sure that we're both like we both feel the same way about each other and everything like that. And like each time we hang out, like it's better and better and better and better, you know. Like it's just we're going way back to, even though like we hadn't dated in like almost 2 years or some shit, like the way we felt about each other like throughout this entire time, like throughout like my entire high school career, like that always stayed constant, like, you know, like that never drifted, even though like we pushed to the side for whatever reason it may be, like it was never really like extinguished, you know. It was always there. And finally, like January 12th, 2011, I like we were gonna hang out, and I finally was gonna like I was finally gonna go for it. Like I was finally gonna ask her to be my girlfriend and like make this shit like official, like Facebook official. Like I was just so pumped. I was so pumped. I was so ready. I was just so ready, dude. So she came over that day, and I mean things were going great like they usually do. And I was talking to her, and we were like in my room, and then we're on the bed, and we were just like laying down, talking and everything like that, and it was cool. And then I just felt like I felt like right now, like I felt like it was like the time, you know, like I felt like it was finally like the time, like the perfect opportunity, like just like everything about that moment just felt like so, just felt like it was like so ready for me to like just leap into a relationship with her, you know. So I started talking to her, and then I started telling her aloud, like the way like I felt about it even more so, you know. I just like I kept saying it over and over because I wanted her to know that I was being serious. Like I told her how like before I was scared of a relationship with her, and that's why I was running, but like now I want that, and I realized that let's say we do like date and like things go like perfectly for the rest of our lives, right? And like we do get married on some crazy like romantic shit, you know, like high school sweetheart type crazy ass shit. Like how could that be so bad, you know? Like how could that be so bad that I was willing to run away from it? It doesn't make any sense. I should be embracing that because like, how crazy is it that I found somebody at such a young age that, like, I feel this strongly towards? And it's not like this is, like, the first person I've ever, like, been with, or this is, like, the first person I ever dated or anything like that. Like, I've experienced things before her, and I've experienced things after her, but at the end of the day, like, nothing ever came close to the way I felt about her, you know? And, like, I just needed her to know that. And I could tell that she felt the same way, just by how she was, like, looking at me when we were talking. And so I did it. Like, I asked her to be my girlfriend. And the funny thing was, like I said, the common thing to do at the time was to be like, do you want to go out? And then she says, yeah, and then, like, that's it. But I didn't want that to be, like, the same thing, you know? I didn't want that, even though it was going to be, like, even though it was such a small little part of, like, our story, like, I wanted everything about it to be different. So instead of doing that, I just said, will you be my girlfriend? And it felt cool doing that because I was like, dang, like, that's the only person I ever asked like that. Like, I never asked any other person in that manner. Like, that's like another thing different, you know? Like, I just wanted everything about our relationship to be like noticeably different, you know? Like, everything about us, everything about, like, what we went through. Like, I wanted everything to always be different with her than with anybody else because, like, I wanted to show how I felt through actions, you know? I wanted to show how I felt through means other than, oh, well, I mean, I can explain how I feel about it. Like, I wanted, like, someone to, like, look at, like, the way things were between us and know that, like, like, that's, I don't know, like, that's something special, you know? Like, you can look at the way that, like, I treated her, or the way, like, I try to treat us, the way I thought about us to be something different in every sense of the word. And, I mean, shit, she said yeah. And we kissed, and that just, like, solidified everything. Like, that kiss, like, I got the same feelings I did that time, and, like, that's how, like, the first time we ever kissed. Like, the first time we ever kissed, like, I felt, like, intense about it. Like, I felt like it was just, like, it was, like, so perfect, you know? And then, like, after all this time to, like, get that feeling back in that moment, like, just made that moment, like, that much better. And shit, like, we were finally together, and we're finally in the same spot. Like, we're finally on the same page as each other. And we both wanted, like, the same things. We both wanted the same things, like, for once. I just never felt so great. And shit, like, I just knew the rest of my life was gonna be, like, different from that moment on.